Dear friends, in this class 8, we learn to solve some of the CET questions on electric current part 2, that is on Kirchhoff's laws and potentiometer and other things. Now we think of first question here. We read it. A battery consists of a variable number n of identical cells having internal resistance R each, which are connected in series. The terminals of the battery are short circuited and the current I is measured. Which of the graphs show the correct relationship between I and N? We write formula for current I equals E by R plus R. Here capital R is external resistance and R is internal resistance, E is EMF. As this is a series combination of cells, N cells are there, net EMF is NE divided by net internal resistance is NR and net external resistance is 0 as the battery is short circuited. Therefore, I is equal to NE by NR, which cancels E by R only. That means I is independent of N. That means I remains constant irrespective of the number of cells in the series. Therefore, option 1 is correct. Option 1 is correct. In this second circuit, two cells of EMF E1 and E2 are joined in opposition such that E1 is greater than E2. If R1 and R2 be the internal resistance and R be the external resistance, the terminal potential difference is, observe here, there are two EMFs, E1, E2, and E1 is larger than E2. Therefore, net EMF is E1 minus E2 and net internal resistance is net internal resistance is equal to N, say R1 plus R2. Therefore, current in this circuit, current I in this circuit equals E1 minus E2 by R external resistance plus R1 plus R2. Therefore, terminal potential difference V equals I into R, which amounts to be E1 minus E2 divided by R plus R1 plus R2 whole into this R. Therefore, option 4 is correct. As we can see, E1 minus E2, R1 plus R2 plus R. As why we have taken E1 minus E2? Because E1 is given to be greater than E2. Then, going on to the next question here. An electric kettle has two heating elements. One brings it to boil in 10 minutes and other in 15 minutes. If the two heating filaments are connected in parallel, the water in the kettle will boil in. So in this case, heating is concerned. Heating means all the power utilized in given time. That means amount of heat generated, H, can be written as P into T. P is power into time. So V square by R is the power into time T. Now, as we can see here, we can write this as V is constant, R as heat is same as the same amount of, say, water is heated. Therefore, we can simply write R proportional to T. R proportional to T. Therefore, in the first case, R1 when one element is connected, time is proportional to 10 minutes. When second element is connected, if its resistance is R2, it is 15 minutes. But once they are in parallel, effective resistance is Rp, which is R1 R2 by R1 plus R2, which seems to be proportional to T. Now we substitute everything using the proportionality. Therefore, T is equal to T1, what we can call as 10 minutes, T2 15 minutes. So T1 T2 by T1 plus T2. T1 is 10 into 15 by 10 plus 15, that is 150 by 25, which amounts to 6 minutes. Therefore, option 2 is correct. Now, fourth question. With a resistance P ohm in the left gap, another resistance Q ohm in the right gap of a meter bridge, the balance point is obtained at 40 centimeter. When a resistance 6 ohm is connected across Q, the balance point shifts to 50 centimeter. The value of P is, here we use P equals QL by 100 minus L. As we are writing this length in centimeter, I take 100 here. Now, we are given as the first thing, I can write P by Q as L1 40 by 100 minus 40, which amounts to be 4 by 6. When we connect 6 ohms across means parallel, so new right gap resistance, now right gap resistance, new right gap resistance is Q dash, which is Q into 6 by Q plus 6, as Q and 6 are in parallel. Across denotes parallel combination. Now the balance point shifts to 50. Therefore, I can write P by Q dash as 50 by 100 minus 50, which amounts to be 1. Therefore, P equals Q dash. Now, P by Q is 4 by 6, and if we substitute for Q dash, we get this. Say P by Q is 4 by 6. For P, I can write Q dash. Q dash by Q is 4 by 6. But Q dash is Q6 by Q plus 6 whole divided by Q equals, this can also be written as 2 by 3, 2 by 3. Therefore, now Q get cancelled, cross multiplying we have, say we can cancel this also, 2 3s are 6. So we have 9 on left hand side is equal to Q plus 6, which amounts to be Q equals 3 ohms. Q 3 ohms means P by Q is 4 by 6, which is 2 by 3. P by 3 equals 2 by 3. So P equals 2 ohms. Therefore, option 4 is correct. Option 4 is correct. We read fifth question. A potentiometer wire has resistance of 20 ohm and length 10 meter. It is connected in series with a battery of 2.5 volt and negligible internal resistance and an external resistance 5 ohm. Fall of potential in millivolts per meter. We write the circuit first. Say the potentiometer is having a wire, what we call as AB, whose length is 10 meter and resistance is 20 ohm. is connected in series with a battery or EMF of 2.5 volt and external resistance R, which is 5 ohm. This is a circuit. We are asked to calculate potential millivolt per meter across AB. That means we have to calculate the potential gradient in millivolt. So how to calculate this? Very simple idea. First we calculate the current and then potential difference across 20 ohms, that is wire. Then divided by length. Only 3 steps. So current I in the wire equals E 2.5 divided by net resistance 20 plus 5, that is 2.5 by 25, which amounts to be 0.1 ampere current. Once current is known, we can write the potential difference across the cell, that is VAB. Potential difference across AB is I into 20 ohms, 0.1 into 20, which is 2 volts. So potential difference is known now. Therefore, as its length is 10 meter, potential gradient is given by VAB by length L. 2 by length L is given to be 10 meter. So 0.2 volt per meter. As we need to write it in millivolt, we multiply and divide by 10 raised to minus 3 by 10 raised to minus 3 volt per meter. Therefore, which amounts to be 10 raised to minus 3 is milli. Therefore, I can simply write 0.2 into 1000 millivolt per meter, which amounts to be 200 millivolt per meter. That is, the option number 3 is correct. Now going for the 6th question. Kirchhoff's voltage law is based on law of conservation of. As the voltage means potential difference, it is amount of work done. Therefore, amount of work done means it something to do with energy. Therefore, option 4 is correct for this question. We read the next question. A potentiometer wire of length 10 meter and resistance 30 ohm is connected in series with a battery of 2.5 volt and a resistance 5 ohm and an external resistance R. We write the figure again. Say we have a potentiometer wire AB and it is connected to a battery or EMF source of 2.5 volt, 5 ohm internal resistance and an external resistance R. If the fall of potential along the potentiometer wire is 0.50 microvolt per millimeter, that means potential gradient is given to be 50 microvolt per millimeter. What I can write as 50 10 raised to minus 6, 10 raised to minus 3 for millivolt per meter. So phi is now known. The value of R value to be calculated. Potentiometer wire resistance is 30 ohms and R is there, 5 is there. Therefore, we can simply calculate the current in this circuit. I equals 2.5 by net resistance 30 plus 5 plus R. So 2.5 by 35 plus R. That is the I value, current in the circuit. Now, if we calculate potential difference across AB And we can calculate it by two methods, and we can equate it, we get R. So I can simply write I into 30 ohms must be equal to 5 into L, length of the potentiometer wire. I is 2.5 by 35 plus R into 30, which is equal to 5, is 50 10 raised to minus 3 into L is 10. If we simplify this for the R, we get R as 115 ohms. You can easily simplify and you can get the answer. So option 3 is correct. In a balanced Wheatstone network, the resistances in the arms Q and S are interchanged. As a result, we write the balance condition in the beginning. P by Q equals R by S. Once Q and S are interchanged, that means I can write P by S R by Q. But in the second condition, in this, we cannot obtain the first ratio in any manner. Therefore, the network is not balanced. Option 1 is correct. In the 9th question, the figure shows currents in a part of an electric circuit. Then current I is, in fact, observe, this is a Kirchhoff's current law problem or junction rule problem. Very simple. Here 2 ampere and 2 ampere, which amounts to give 4 ampere here. And this 4, out of 4, 1 ampere goes there. Here 3 ampere is left. Out of 3, 1.3 goes there. I equals 3 minus 1.3, which is 1.7. So option 1 is correct. Option 1 is correct. Let me go through it once. 2 ampere gives rise to 4, because these two are entering and this is leaving current. Sum of all entering current should be equal to sum of all leaving current. So 2 ampere added to 4 ampere. Out of this 4, say which enters this node, 1 ampere goes out. So remaining 4 minus 1, 3 is coming in this line, and at this node, out of 3 ampere, 1.3 goes there. Remaining 3 minus 1.3 will give the answer 1.7. Now in this question, 10th, a typical Wheatstone network, the resistance in cyclic order P, Q, S, R are given for the bridge to balance. In the cyclic order means we write like this. Even though it's not required, we can do it in the mind, but for the sake of clarity, we write Q equals 5 ohms, S equals 4 ohms, R equals 4 ohms. Now we take the ratio. P by Q is 10 by 5, which is 2. In the same manner, R by S is 4 by 4, which amounts to 1. So as P by Q is not equal to R by S, the bridge is not balanced. For the bridge to balance, say in the given options, first two are with the Q, last two are with the P. First we check with the Q itself. 5 ohm should be connected in series with Q. That means Q was 5. And if we connect one more 5 ohms in series with Q, that means P by Q dash, which is 10 by 5 plus 5, which is 10 by 10, which amounts to 1, which is nothing but R by S also. Therefore, when we connect 5 ohm in series with Q, the P by Q dash will be equal to R by S and the network will be balanced. First option itself is the correct, so there's no need for us to check the other 3. So coming over to the 11th question here, in the circuit shown, some potential difference is applied between A and B. the equivalent resistance between A and B is, to observe this seems to be a little bit tricky circuit, but it is nothing but a Wheatstone's network. If we want, we can call these 2 points as C and D, and we write, say this is our A to D, I write a resistance, what is 3 ohms there, A to D. And then A to C, this way, I can write 2 ohms, this is our C. And D to C, there is a 5 ohm. And then D to B, there is 6 ohm. This is B, 6 ohms. And B to C, 4 ohms. Observe, now it is very clear, it's a Wheatstone's network. And we first check whether it is balanced or not. 3 by 6 is 1 by 2, that is P by Q. This is P and this is Q. R by S, R and S. R by S is 2 by 4, which is also 1 by 2. As P by Q equals R by S, bridge is balanced. Once bridge is balanced, 5 ohm need not be considered as no current passes. Its effect is not there. Very simple idea now. 3 and 6 are in series and 2 and 4 also are in series. So, to find the effective resistance across AB, we need to take 6 and 3 in series, 2 and 4 in series. 6 and 3 will lead us to 9, 6 plus 3. 2 and 4 will lead us to 6, 2 plus 4. So, simply 9 and 6 ohms are in parallel. Therefore, effective resistance between A and B is 9 into 6 by 9 plus 6, as 9 and 6 are in parallel. 9 into 6 by 15. We can calculate it like this. 3 2s are, 3 5s are. So 18 by 5, which amounts to be 3 point something. Therefore, option 3 is correct. Option 3 is correct. In the 12th question, we learn a trick also. Here also, the given circuit, effective resistance is to be calculated. We read it. If each resistance of the network shown in the figure R is equivalent, R says the equivalent resistance between A and B is, say, we are given a little bit tricky circuit, but it is not tricky. It's also a Wheatstone network, but written in different form. If we shift this A onto this side, if we lift this whole part, then the circuit will become very simple. It is like this. This is our A, and this is our R, and this is our R. Say A to F. Say A and F are one and the same. F to C is there, F to D is there. Both are R. Then C to D is again R, like this. And then D to E is also R. And E to C is also R. Observe. Now we have a Wheatstone's network which is very well balanced. And also in balanced network, we can use a short idea, we can use a fast idea here. When all the arms resistance between P, Q, R, S are all same, then effective resistance is equal to one of the arm resistance. Therefore, I can simply write without going for any calculation, R effective equals R. That means third option is correct. Let me repeat it. When a Wheatstone's network have all the 4 arm resistances same, then the effective resistance is also same as one of the arm resistance. So here all the 4 arms are R and R. Therefore, effective resistance is also R. So the option 3 is correct. 13th question. A potentiometer has uniform potential gradient. This specific resistance of material of potentiometer wire is 10⁻⁷ ohm meter, and the current passing through it is 0.1 ampere. Cross section of the wire is 10 raised to minus 6 meter square. The potential gradient along the potentiometer wire. Potential gradient means phi, which is equal to potential difference across the wire divided by its length, V by L. But we know V according to Ohm's law, I into R by L, where R is resistance of the potentiometer wire. I can write it as I rho L by A divided by L. This L cancels, so phi is equal to I rho by A. We substitute everything. I is 0.1, rho 10 raised to minus 7 divided by area 10 raised to minus 6. Say this I can write 10 raised to minus 8 by 10 raised to minus 2. That means minus 6. So 10 raised to minus 2 volt per meter is the answer. Second option is correct. 14th question we read. An unknown resistance R1 is connected in series with a resistance of 10 ohm. This combination is connected in one gap of the meter bridge, while resistance R2 is connected in the other gap. The balance point is 50 centimeter. Now when the resistance 10 ohm is removed, the balance point shifts to 40, the value of R1. Say we write the circuit, we imagine R1 is in the left gap. Say an unknown resistance R1 is connected in series with the 10 ohm. Say in the left gap of meter bridge, I have R1 and 10 ohm. And in the right gap, there's galvanometer and everything. I don't want to write it. In the right gap, we have R2. In the right gap, we have R2. This is the meter bridge wire, and this is the cell and plug key and everything. Now, when R1 and 10 ohms are there, we can simply write by using the formula X equals SL by 100 minus L. Here X is R1 plus 10 and S is R2. So simply write R1 plus 10 by R2. I take it onto this side. L is given to be in the beginning, it is 50 centimeter, 50 by 100 minus 50, which amounts to 1. Therefore, R1 by R1 plus 10 by R2 is 1, or R1 plus 10 is R2. Now, going for second one, when 10 ohm resistance is removed, the balance point shifts to 40. That means R1 only there, R1 by R2 will be 40 by 100 minus 40, which amounts to 4 by 6 or 2 by 3. R1 by R2 is 2 by 3. We are asked to calculate R1 value. We can simply substitute for R2 from this. R2 equals 3R1 by 2. Substituting it in 1, we get R1 plus 10 equals 3R1 by 2, which will give us 5, say 1, we think of 10 equals 3R1 by 2 minus R1, which amounts to be 3 by 2 R1 minus 1 R1 means 1 by 2 R1. So 1 by 2 R1, R1 equals 20 ohms. So option 1 is correct. Option 1 is correct. In the given circuit, current drawn I is, observe, in this circuit, all the 4 arms have 10 ohms resistance. We know, as we discussed in one of the previous problems, when all the 4 arm resistance are same, effective resistance is also same. Therefore, current drawn by the battery is very simply I equals 2 volt by 10 ohm. Because effective resistance is also 10 ohms, therefore 0.2 ampere. Option 2 is correct. Next we read, in a potentiometer experiment, two cells of EMF E1 and E2 are used in series. The secondary circuit, the balancing length is found to be 58 centimeter. If the polarity is reversed, the balancing length is 29. The ratio E1 by E2 of the EMFs of two cells, we can do it very simply. In the beginning are in series, E1 and E2 are in series, therefore E1 plus E2 is their effective resistance, is proportional to 58. And then when polarity is reversed, E1 minus E2 is proportional to 29. As we know, in potentiometer circuit, E proportional to balancing length. Therefore, E1 plus E2 by E1 minus E2 equals 2. 58 by 29 is 2, which amounts to be E1 plus E2 equals 2E1 minus 2E2. Therefore, we can write 3E2 equals E1. Therefore, E1 by E2 is 3:1. Therefore, option 3 is correct. Option 3 is correct. Now we read the next question. Two resistors are connected. This one connected in two gaps of meter bits. The balance point is 20 centimeter from the zero end. A resistance of 15 ohm is connected in series with the smaller of the two. The null point shifts to 40 centimeter. The value of the smaller resistance in ohms. Say in this first we read the first sentence. Two resistors are connected in two gaps. Say we take X by S ratio. Balance point is 20. That means 20 by 100 minus 20, which amounts to 20 by 80 or 1 by 4. Now, a resistance of 15 ohm is connected in series with the smaller of the two. How to find the smaller of the two? In the above ratio, X by S is 1 by 4. That clearly tells us X is smaller than S. As the numerator is smaller, therefore X is smaller than S. Therefore, the given thing, a resistance of 15 ohm is connected in series with the smaller of the thing. Therefore, new value of X is X dash equals X plus 15. And balancing length is 40. Now we can write X dash by S is equal to 40 by 100 minus 40, which is 4 by 6 or 2 by 3. X dash by S is 2 by 3, X by S is 1 by 4. We divide them. X dash by X equals 2 by 3 by 1 by 4. So 8 by 3. X dash by X is 8 by 3, but X dash is X plus 15 by X is 8 by 3. Multiplying this, 3X plus 45 equals 8X. So 5X equals 45. X equals 9 ohms. So option 3 is correct. In this problem 18, we have to find the relation between external resistance and internal resistances. We read the problem carefully. If the potential difference across internal resistance R1 is equal to EMF E of the battery, then we simply do this thing. We write the expression for current in this circuit. I equals net EMF 2E divided by net resistance R plus R1 plus R2. but it is given E equals IR1, the potential difference across internal resistance. Therefore, if I substitute that there, I equals 2 IR1 R plus R1 plus R2, cancel this I and write the cross multiplied value there, 2R1, which simply means R equals R1 minus R2. Therefore, option 3 is correct. 19th question says, at the instant when potentiometer is balanced, current, say, when potentiometer is balanced, the cell connected in the secondary circuit is balanced with the potential difference across the length of the wire. That means no current flows through the secondary circuit and only the current flows in the primary circuit. Therefore, option 1 is correct. If you want, we can explain it like this. This is AB, and once we have secondary cell like this and a galvanometer and a cell there, this length potential is equal to E, therefore, and this is primary circuit, and as galvanometer shows 0, this EMF E value will be equal to the potential difference across L. Therefore, there is no current flows in this circuit and current flows in primary circuit. Therefore, we can choose the option flows in primary circuit only. Now, 20th question. A wire of resistance 5 ohm is stretched such that longitudinal strain is 200%. The new resistance in ohms, we know when wire is stretched, new resistance is N square R1, where N is number of times the length is increased. But we can write here L2 as L1 plus delta L1. Now we can write the formula like this. Say L2 is L1 1 plus delta L1 by L1. Therefore, if we substitute these things there, R2 by R1 is L2 by L1 whole square. L2 is L1 plus delta L by L1 whole square, that is 1 plus delta L by L1 whole square. That means R2 by R1 equals 1 plus 200% means 200 by 100, 2, that is 2 whole square, that is 9. So R2 is 9R1. So 9 into 5 is 45. 45. Here, say longitudinal strain means delta L by L1, which is amounts to be 200%, which is nothing but 2. Therefore, we have R2 equals 45, which amounts to be the fourth option. The fourth option is correct. Fourth option is correct. Next question is, the potential difference between A and B in the following figure is. We simply apply Kirchhoff's voltage law here. If current is 2 ampere, say this side is positive, this side is negative, positive, negative, and positive, negative as current flows. So we can write by applying the sign convention also. 2 into 6 with minus sign. Here plus 2 minus 12 volts goes. So fall in potential minus 12. Here also minus 2 into 9 because fall in potential. Here rise in potential minus 2 plus it goes 4. And then here fall in potential minus 2 into 5. This is equal to the potential difference between A and B. We go for it now. Minus 12, minus 18, plus 4, minus 10, which amounts to be, say, 30, 42, minus 10, 52, plus 4, 48. So minus 48 volts, or 48 is the correct answer. Option 3 is correct. Option 3 is correct. Now, in the question 22, in this circuit given here, the points A, B, C are 70, 0 and 10 volt respectively. Then we have to choose the answer. First, we try to analyze the situation. Potential at A, I call as VA, 70 volts. And potential at B, VB, 0 volts. And VC, the potential at C, VC, 10 volts. Looking at this circuit by applying the Kirchhoff's law, current law, we can say current flows from VA, that is A towards D, and C towards D, but from D it flows towards B. Therefore, we can simply say, if I write this as I1 and this as I2 and this as I3, we can write I3 equals I1 plus I2 using Kirchhoff's current law. I3 we can write, say, if VD is the potential difference at D, VD minus 0 by 20, which is equal to I1. I can write VA minus VD by 10 plus I2. I can write VC minus VD by 30. By doing the simplification, we can simply write, say, VD by 20 equals VA 70 minus VD by 10 plus VC 10 minus VD by 30. Now, going for the simplification, we can write VD can be taken onto one side, VD by 20, 7 minus VD by 10 plus 1 by 3 minus VD by 3, 30. If we take all this VD onto one side, VD is 1 by 20, 1 by 20, 1 by 10 plus 1 by 30, which is equal to 7 plus 1 by 3. Now, here if we can simplify it, VD, the potential, will become 40 volt. Therefore, the option 3 is correct. Option 3 is the question number 23. We read it now. Consider the following statements regarding the network shown in the figure. First statement is equivalent resistance of the network between A and B is independent of value of G. Say, we just observe, this is just a Wheatstone network written in a slightly different form. Here this R is in the place of P and this R is in the place of Q. So R by R is, and here this R is in the place of R and this is in the place of S. So they are equal. So R by R equals to R by R. That means it's a balanced Wheatstone network and it is independent, say, effective resistance independent of G. Now going for the B, the equivalent resistance between the network equivalent resistance of the network between A and B is 4 by 3. We just check. As it is balanced Wheatstone network, we can remove the G there. These two will become in series and these two will be in the series. Therefore, this will amounts to be R by 2 and this is, say, that is 2R, sorry, and this is 4R. Therefore, the effective resistance is 2R in parallel with 4R, 2R plus 4R, which is equal to say 4 by 3R, which is correct according to the second B there, second point B. The current through galvanometer is 0 because it is balanced Wheatstone network. So option 1 is correct. A, B and C are all correct. We think of 24th question. In potentiometer experiment of a cell of EMF 1.25 volt gives a balancing length 30 centimeter. If the cell is replaced by another cell, balancing length is found to be 40 centimeter. What is the EMF of the second cell? Here we use straight away this relation. E1 by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. Therefore, E2 equals L2 by L1 into E1, L2 40 by 30 into E1 1.25. This amounts to be 1.67. If we calculate this, it becomes 1.67. So option 2 is correct there. Now 25th question. In Wheatstone's network, P is 2 ohm, Q is 2 ohm, R is 2 ohm and S is 3 ohm. The resistance with which S is to be shunted in order that the bridge may be balanced is, say, we write P by Q, which is 2 by 2 is 1. R by S we write. R by S is 2 by 3. Next we read the sentence. The resistance with which S to be shunted. Shunted means parallel connected. In order that the bridge may be balanced is, say, for that I write R by S dash equals 1. As P by Q is 1, R by S dash to be 1, so that we get balance. Therefore, R should be S dash. So, R is 2. S dash can be written as S into Y by S plus Y, where Y is the resistance to be shunted along with the S to get the balance. Therefore, we write 2 equals 3Y by 3 plus Y. We simplify it. 6 plus 2Y equals 3Y, or Y equals simply 6 ohms. Fourth option is correct. Fourth option is correct. This can also be done very easily in this manner by observation. Say P by Q is 2 by 2 is 1, R by S is 2 by 3, S is 3 ohms. To make it 2, say something to be connected in parallel with 3. So 3 in parallel with 6 gives us always 2s. Therefore, we can straight away observe by observation also we can write Y equals 6 ohms. So option 4 is correct for this. 26th question we read, the value of I in the figure shown below is, we apply Kirchhoff's voltage law there, Kirchhoff's current law, 20 ampere is entering, out of which 5 ampere is going out. Here we have, say, 15 ampere passing, because out of 20, 5 is gone, 15 remaining. This 15 at this node added with 4, as 4 is entering, will give us 19 ampere. This 19 ampere comes over to this point. But this 5 at this node loses 3 ampere onto this side. So we have 2 ampere here. So 19 and 2 added to give us I, that is 19 plus 2, 21 ampere. Option 2 is correct. Now going for the 27th question. Power dissipated in 3 ohm resistance is in the following circuit is. Say this circuit can be simply written like this. Say 2 and 3 are in series, 2 and 3, then this is 3 and this is 2, then 3 is in parallel with 6 there, then totally there is a parallel combination of 4 ohm like this. Now, as we can see, 6 and 3 result in 2 ohm, 2 plus 2, 4, 4 and 4 parallel 2 ohms. The effective resistance or effective of the network is 2 ohm. Therefore, current I in the circuit is E by R plus R. E is 4.5, 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 ohm is the internal resistance. Therefore, 4.5 by 3, which is 1.5 ampere. Current is 1.5 ampere passing through or drawn from the battery. Now, this 1.5 split into 2 equal currents as 4 and 4 are in 2 equal branches. Therefore, current through the 6, 3 and 2 branch is half of this I by 2, that is 1.5 by 2 is 0.75 ampere. Therefore, in 6 and 3, 0.75 ampere is flowing. We want to calculate the power dissipated in 3 ohms, so we have to calculate the potential difference across 6 and 3 parallel, and then we can simply use V square by R for the calculation of power. So 0.75 is flowing through 6, 3 and 2 combination, series combination there. Now, as 6 and 3 is 2 ohms there, now I by 2 is 1.5 by 2 equals 0.75 ampere. Therefore, the current through the potential difference across 6 and 3 parallel combination, which is effectively 2, is nothing but 0.75 into 2 ohms, which is potential difference. It is 1.5 volts. Again, so power dissipated is V square by R. 1.5 square by R is 3 ohms, which amounts to be 0.75 watt. So option 1 is correct. Twenty-eighth question we learn now. The effective resistance between P and Q for the following combination. If we observe this combination here, these 3 and 3 are in series, and then that series is in parallel with 6, and then all that in series with 4 and 6. So we do like this. This 3 and 3 will result in 6 ohms. This overall combination 6 and 6 will result in 3 ohm. Finally, we have a circuit which is a simple series combination like this. It is 4, 3 and 5. So effective resistance between P and Q is 12 ohms. 5 plus 3, 8 plus 4, 12 ohms. Therefore, option 3 is correct. Now, 29th question. 5 identical resistors, each of resistance 1500 ohm, are connected into a 300 volt battery as shown in the circuit. The reading of the ideal ammeter is. Observe here, these two can be taken to be in parallel, these two taken to be in parallel. In between we have an ammeter. I can simply write this circuit like this with two things there. Which is R by 2 for two car resistances, and then there is a ammeter, and from there is R by 3 combination, R by 3. As R is 1500, R by 3 is 500 ohms, R by 2 is 750 ohms. And applied voltage is 300 volt. Observe, as 300 volt source is not mentioned with any internal resistance, the current as the voltage applied to 500 ohms is also 300 volts, as ammeter is ideal. Therefore, current through the ideal ammeter I is E by R 300 by 500, that is 3 by 5 ampere. Option 2 is correct. Now the variation of terminal potential difference V with current flowing through a cell is as shown. The EMF and internal resistance of the cell are, say this is just a graph drawn with this formula, V equals E minus IR, or we can write it as Y equals C plus mx form, where x is I, m is slope, E is intercept. Therefore, at 0x, that means at 0 current I, what is the voltage shown is nothing but EMF, and at 0 voltage, say this slope of this line will give us internal resistance R. Therefore, the slope, the intercept is 3 volt, EMF is 3 volt, internal resistance R is 3 by 6, which is 0.5, the slope of this curve, ohms. Therefore, option 1 is correct. 31st question. In a potentiometer experiment, the balancing point with a cell is at length 240. On shunting the cell with resistance of 2 ohm, the balancing length becomes 120. The internal resistance of this cell. Here we can straight away use the formula for internal resistance calculation, what you used in the lab. What we used in the lab. R equals R into L1 by L2 minus 1 is the formula what we can use there. So, R is 2 ohm, L1 240 by L2 120 minus 1, which amounts to be 2 into 1, 2 ohms. Answer, internal resistance is 2 ohm. First option is correct. In 32nd question, we read, in the diagram below, resistance is of 1 ohm. The total resistance between A and B is. Observe, this can be solved by using the symmetry point. This point E is symmetrical over the circuit. Therefore, at this point E, we can disconnect the circuit like this. Let me read it. Let me write it like this. Just observe. This is the first part, and we disconnect E here, and we write it like this. This is the circuit now. This is 1, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, 1, and 1 and 1. This is A and B. Observe, these two are in series, these two are in series and parallel with 1. So, these two are in series, result in 2 ohms, and this is in 1 ohm parallel. Say these two is 2 by 3 ohms. Now the final circuit, very simple circuit, is 2 ohms here in the bottom A and B, and here it is 1 ohm, it is 2 by 3, and it is 1, 1, 1, 2 by 3 and 2. Now 2 by 3 and these are all in series except for this 2. Therefore 2 by 3 plus 2, 1 plus 1 is 2, that is 8 by 3 ohms in parallel. Now 8 by 3 in parallel with 2, therefore 8 by 3 into 2 by 8 by 3 plus 2 is, what we can do is 16 by 3 divided by 14 by 3, 16 by 14, 8 by 7 ohms. So option C is correct. Option C is correct. Now, this is a peculiar question, what appears in many papers. Say, here we read it. The equivalent resistance of the following infinite network of the resistance. Say here, on this right side of the circuit, it is given in the dotted line. That means it extends up to infinity. In this type of case, whether we see it from terminals AB, or whether we see it from this point, or whether we see it from this point, as it extends up to infinity, effective resistance remains same. If we take effective resistance as X, I can simply write this circuit like this. This is 1, 1, A, B, this is 1, and all other, this part, remaining part, can be written as X. So these two are in parallel. I can call it as X dash, X into 1 by X plus 1 effective resistance. But as we see it from AB, that is also X. Therefore, I can simply write X equals the parallel combination of X dash, series combination of X dash with 1 and 1, that is X dash plus 1, which is X dash plus 2. Now, we write X dash as X by X plus 1 plus 2. If we simplify this, X equals X plus 2X plus 2 divided by X plus 1, that is X square plus X equals X plus 2X plus 2. If you cancel all these things there, you have X square minus 2X minus 2 equals 0. If you use the formula for X equals minus B plus or minus square root of B square minus 4AC divided by 2A, you will get X as 1 plus root 3 ohms. That is option 2 is correct. We go for the 34th question. As switch S is closed, the circuit shown, the current passed through it is, observe 8 volts is here, 4 volts is here. This I call as V, the potential at this point. Once we close the switch, due to the potential difference, it passes. Say now, the current from 8 volt to 4 volt comes like this, 4 volt to V volt comes like this. Now both of them get added and enter into the ground. Therefore, I can write simply 8 minus V by 4 plus 4 minus V by 1, which is equal to V minus 0 by 1, where 1 ohm is S in the S branch. This one is with this. Now we can write it as 8 by 4 minus V by 4 plus 4 by 1 minus V by 1 equals V by 1. Now observe here, it is 2, say minus V by 4 plus V by 1 is minus 5V by 4 plus 4 plus 2, 6 equals V. So 6 equals V plus 5V by 4, that is 9V by 4 is 6. 9V is 24. Therefore, V is 24 by 9. What we can write as 3 8s are 3 3s are 8 by 3 volts. Therefore, current through the switch S is V minus 0 by 1 ohm, 8 by 3 ampere. So option 3 is correct. The final question for this session, now we think of 12 wires of equal resistance R are connected to form a cube. The effective resistance between two opposite diagonal ends will be, say we write the figure for the given statement. It is a cube formed by 12 resistance wires. Say it can be written like this. A cube is written here, a cube is written here, as a side of the cube is written, and here also a resistance, here also a resistance, and here also a resistance. If I take this A and B as two diagonally opposite corners, we are asked to calculate effective resistance between these things. So it is easy to do by assuming the splitting of currents in equal manner in equal branches. So I take, as there is a 6th division of current, I take 6I entering into A, out of which 2I splits here, 2I happens here, 2I happens here. This 2I comes over here, it becomes I, it becomes I there. This I comes over up to this 2I after this again becoming I and I there. Say observe at this point these 2I will get added to becomes 2I. Here also it comes to, here I and I branches, it comes again here it 2I. In the same manner here also it is 2I. If we write any path between A and B, we can write the potential difference like this. Say potential difference across VAB can be written as, if I mark it as C, D, E, F, G. I can mark any path VAC plus VCD plus VDB. But VAB can be written as I into R effective. VAC, say 2I is the current, R is the resistance, 2I into R plus. VCD, I is the current and R is the resistance, IR plus. DB, 2I is the current, R is the resistance. Now, the current through DB is 2I into R, 2I, so 2I into R. The current entering into circuit at A is 6I, so I must write 6 here, 6I. We can write 6I R effective equals 5IR. Therefore, cancelling this, we can write R effective as 5 by 6 into R. Therefore, option 1 is correct. Option 1 is correct. Thank you. This much is for this session, and we will continue with the moving charge and magnetism in the next sessions.